Right, so Derek, let's start with injuries because you've had another blow with Michael Mellon.
Yeah, Michael dislocated his shoulder against Fleetwood. He went just after half time, went into a challenge, and he's had that similar injury when he's been at Burnley. He didn't require operation at that time. They thought they could get through it, but now he does require that surgery, so he misses out. We've got Jake Taylor with a calf injury, Max Melbourne the other night with a recurrence of his hamstring injury, Jacob Badoux against Bolton twisted his knee and it was badly swollen, so he's going to be out for probably another 7 days, maybe 10. And we had Arthur Gonoa, who was out early the other night as well. So we're hopeful that Arthur will be the one that is fit for this weekend.
And Michael Mellon's finished for the season, I understand now. That's him done.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he's hopefully going to go back to Burnley. We're in discussions with that at this moment in time.
That's a real blow, isn't it? Because he was an option up front. He came in for Kieran Phillips, didn't he? You've not had much luck, have you?
No, I mean, I think that, Kieran, obviously, he injured his cruciate ligament, and Michael's now had a dislocated shoulder, so it's not helped us. It's left us a bit short, so we're still looking in that free transfer market for someone else to come in.
But no movement on that yet?
Not as yet, no.
The good news, on Tuesday night, Courtney Doufus coming off the bench. That's earlier than you thought, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, he's been out since last May, maybe April, and he's worked his way back in to getting his fitness. He hasn't had any game time. The idea was to get him out and loan to a National League side. That hasn't come to fruition yet, but he worked his way onto the bench the other night and came on.
It does give you an option at least, doesn't it, off the bench?
It does, yeah. I mean, he's definitely short of match practice, but Courtney has played over the years at National League level and League Two level.
And with Max Melbourne and Jake Taylor, the sort of repeated injuries they've had this season, that's really unfortunate as well, isn't it? Particularly Max.
It's unfortunate for us as a football club. I know for the player, yes, but I think it's more for the football club because we are missing two players for a long period of time, and for a recurrence of the same injury, doesn't help them or us.
And these were two of your big signings pre-season, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, I was speaking about that, and it's important that when you recruit, then you recruit players that are not going to break down, and unfortunately, we've had two players that's happened to, and sometimes that does happen.
Looking back at Tuesday night and the previous game against Bolton, do you see that as two potentially invaluable points?
Yeah, I mean, there were two different games. Bolton was a game where it was top end of the table clash. It was a football match. It was ball played on the floor. The other night against Cambridge, it became a bit of a basketball match where it was end to end and probably more longer balls from both sides. But 2 points that we've had to take and move on. There were always going to be difficult games. We haven't had it easy away from home against Cambridge, and Bolton, riding high at the top of the table.
And another tough away game at Shrewsbury on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, they don't come any easier in this division. We understand that. There's a gulf between both clubs off the field and on the field, and we'll just do as well as we can to compete. We'll look to try and get the win and get that 3 points.
I know it's about taking each game as it comes, but you can't help thinking about those two home games that follow Shrewsbury and how important they could be, potentially with your home form.
Yeah, I mean, we just look to the game on Saturday first. We consider the other ones later on, and I think that it's important that we go into this game and do our best to try and get 3 points.
How do you see the situation at the bottom now? Because obviously you're still in the bottom four, but Accrington have dropped points again. It's still very close, isn't it?
Yeah, I still think there's 8 teams in it. It's still that close. You've got 11 games to go. Some teams have got 13 games to go, and there's still a lot of points to be played for.
And the run-in, some of the other clubs look harder than Morecambe's. Morecambe's isn't easy, but there are other clubs with more difficult run-ins, I think.
Well, I'd like to see their run-ins, but at this stage in the season, every run-in is difficult. It doesn't matter if you're playing at the top or the bottom, because playing against the bottom teams is added pressure for both sides. It does allow you to gain an advantage. We did that the other night because we stopped Cambridge getting any closer to us, but we could have gone 6 points ahead of them.
Talking to Farron Rawson about attitude and leadership, and how at this time of the season and in Morecambe's position, it's important you've got 11 leaders out there.
It's really important. I think that we have got one of the youngest squads in the division, but that's when the experienced players like him, like Ripley, come into play, because they understand the pressures that there is. And we've got a club captain in Donald Love, who's vastly experienced, played with the likes of Man United and Sunderland, that can help from that point of view as well.
And the importance of wins. Not so long ago you strung together a few wins back to back, and that made a world of difference. If you do it again, which is what you did last season at this time of the season, it can make all the difference again, can't it?
Yeah, I mean, wins are huge. They're the 3 points that you need, because they propel you up the league very quickly, and we just need to go and get that wins again to enable us to get into a position where safety it does happen.
MazummaMobile.com